Hi, Bill Yannick here, your Connex CEO. Welcome to our annual meeting and unveiling of the 2021-2022 Connex board. Thank you for joining us, certainly during the virtual connection and during this town hall event. And to kick it off and to introduce our new board, our past board chair and current board chair, Jordan Campbell from Bottega Veneta. Jordan, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Yes, thank you for joining again this year. Looking forward to an action-packed year. Looking forward to getting together in person again. I don't think that I'm alone in that. I'm thrilled to introduce our board, including our newest members. We'll start off with our supplier members. We'll start off with our new members, pardon me. Tom Kay from SMG Holdings will serve as our supplier alternate. Karen Schreiner from Wise Markets will also serve as a multi-site alternate. And in a new addition to the board as a subject matter expert, Garrick Brown from Newmark. Not able to join us today is Mandy Rahan, serving as a supplier director from Freshco. New to the board, we have Amanda Smith from SuperClean. We also have Sid Shetty, serving as director from Service Channel. And we have Kirk Bedoin from Adidas, serving as director. We have Sean Coakley from Weight Watchers, WW, serving as director, and Pat Bacigalupo from Gap, serving as director. From Sephora, we have Tony DeSpirito, serving as director, and Kim Goy from FEXA will serve as our secretary. Grant Baker from Authority HVAC will serve as our treasurer, and Anthony Armato from Ulta will serve as our vice chair. And I'm Jordan Campbell from Bottega Veneta, happy to serve again as chair. Bill, back to you.
Good deal. So as we go through this annual meeting, as certainly the last 2 years we've done our annual meetings virtually, this is our second one. And this is a legal requirement and certainly something strategically we owe our Connex FM members is to update them on the state of the association. And so in a moment, I'm going to go back and forth with Jordan on some key areas that we looked at over the past year and what we've accomplished. But as we get started, Jordan, as you take the helm for your second term as our board chair, what are your just initial thoughts on what happened and where we're going in the future?
You know, over the past year, we made extraordinary progress around our digital transformation, and that will continue to be one of our top priorities going into our new season. It's going to be even more exciting because we're going to have blended events, both personal and virtual, and really that's going to be what events look like from now on. I don't think that we're ever going to go back to the old way of doing things with just the single big in-person trade show and that's it. We're going to give innovative opportunities to network both virtually and in person throughout the year. I'm also particularly enthusiastic about the efforts that as an association we're putting in towards diversity, equity, and inclusion. I know that we have a session that I'm looking forward to a lot this week, exploring what we've done so far and what we're going to do this year. A lot more on the horizon, but if I had to choose two, that's it.
Awesome. So as we work our way through this annual report virtually, hopefully to keep our audience engaged, I'm going to hit 5 key areas, starting with our internal operations. And I think it's important for our membership to know and to realize, as we all know in our, in our businesses outside Connex FM, and within the association, these are challenging times. But the good news is, with Connex, we came into this pandemic in a relatively strong financial position. You want to look at raw numbers, we had a reserve of about $7 million. And now hopefully we're exiting the pandemic with a reserve of about $5 million. And that was absorbing about half our budget, which was the national meeting last year, which we went completely virtual. And so that's one of the things I think was most important that your board did. And I'll turn this over to Jordan for a moment to talk about some of the steps the board took during the last year. But I know internally our operations, we downsized our operations to some degree. We tried to keep the vital elements of keeping you all connected as best we could in a limited budget environment. And from the get-go, as your CEO, and I know our board had this philosophy too, it was all about getting to this point and later in 2021. We knew starting in March of April of last year, moving into this year, was going to be a real slog. So Jordan, I guess my question to you is, what's been your perspective and what's going on at the board level with our discussions and our actions to work our way through this COVID crisis?
Our focus every single day was to continue to drive value to the association and find out what our changing needs were over the course of the last year. We heard from the membership loud and clear that networking opportunities were still absolutely vital, whether it's multi-site to multi-site, just trading best practices, whether it's due to COVID precautions or the aftermath of civil unrest, whatever information they needed, we found ways to remain the one-stop shop. Right? But additionally, we're preparing, we sought to prepare for this coming year and provide in-person networking opportunities because we're all thirsty to get back out and, might not be shaking hands, but we'll certainly be trading smiles. And at the end of the day, it's really about heading out to our membership and listening to what their needs are and coming back with those very products.
Great. Well, in one area too, so internally we had to do some things to triage the organization and to make sure we can move forward and remain financially stable. And we definitely are, and we're poised to succeed in this year. Externally, one of the important things I know the board, from the board's perspective and what they've told their CEO to look is to build alliances with other groups. Last year, we had a joint event with ICSC. This year, we're looking at a joint event. In fact, in early May, there'll be a big announcement for a couple late year events that we're going to partner with other organizations. Jordan, what's been the board's perspective on aligning, building alliances during these times when it is so tough to go it alone?
The board's perspective on alliances has for a long time been, yes, let's do it. But over the past year, we've really established ourselves as a leader in the association space around digital events. So Connex wasn't knocking on doors saying, hey, you want to hang out? But rather, people were coming to us and asking us, how are you doing it? Can we help? How do we work together?
Good stuff. And so internally, we did a lot of things. Externally, we're building alliances. As I mentioned, stay tuned. The first week of May, you're going to see an announcement for a big joint event with Connex and one of our partners, and probably in late November, early December as well. One of the crucial areas that I know the board, and it's one of the legacies of this board moving forward, was to align expectations. And really, I would more look at it now as seeking feedback from our membership and acting on that feedback. And we did a couple things. Well, one big thing last year in the heart of this pandemic is we did a membership survey and did receive feedback, good, bad, and otherwise, but mostly good, and a lot of constructive feedback from our members. And then early this year, we did focus groups that we brought in multi-site and supplier members to gauge their feedback. So we had a quantitative survey and a qualitative focus group. And Jordan, I know that you've emphasized during your time as chair, maybe you can elaborate a little bit now how important it is to take those survey results and that focus group feedback and actually act on
it. You're 100% correct. The information that we get from our focus groups and our surveys is always important, but now more than ever. As I mentioned already, needs are changing every day. And the only way that we're going to know how each and every member feels and how we can be of the best service to each and every member is if you tell us. And that's not only participating in surveys, that's not only accepting those those focus group invitations if you can, but when we send out a ballot vote, when every time we ask you for information, it's in the membership's best interest for you to give it to us. I can only say that over the course of the next year, we're going to see some really innovative events, and by providing feedback on those events, we'll be able to continue to innovate for the coming years.
Great. And I mentioned the legacy of the sport. One of the most important things, one of the things we probably haven't done as good as in the past is to regularly survey our members. I've been here a little over 4.5 years now. It's been a little bit sporadic in that we would survey and take 24 months or so off. We are going to be surveying our members probably, well, at least once a year, but even more than that. And as Jordan said, it is so important too to act on that feedback. So also internally at Connex headquarters, we had a couple big personnel moves during this annual meeting to highlight. One is to appoint our first chief operating officer ever. She's someone you all know very well, Leanne Norton, as well as promote Shana Thomas to our VP of Marketing Communications. And from the CEO seat, to give you a little perspective of what we're looking at, in late 2016, Prism at that time, I think we had 6 business units. At one time, we collapsed down to 4 business units, and we're going back to that 4 business unit type. The basics, the blocking and tackling that our organization does, so important with our events, our marketing communications. And we have 2 strong leaders in events, and Leanne has the dual hat of the COO and running our events, and then Shana Thomas with our marketing communications. And then one other position that we currently have open that we are doing a nationwide search, and I think by early June, we're going to be able to zero in on a great candidate, is membership development. And we know that everyone knows that in their business or in the association, either we are going to grow as an association or we're going to die as an association. And hopefully everything we do keeps our organization growing. And there's great optimism now as its economy turns a corner. And I do think we're going to be able to grow more. Jordan at the top talked about some of the new vertical markets we're looking at. We're certainly going to continue to cater to our traditional multi-site vertical, but also healthcare multi-site and food and beverage multi-site we're looking at as well, and we're seeing gains in that. But we do need a leader in that VP of membership development slot. But we're really excited at Connex HQ with our team as we're moving forward. And so I'll finish with the 5th area we're going to talk about today, Jordan. And I think it's one of the first things you said when you ran for chair the first time. It has to do with digital transformation and how important that is to what we are and what we need to become. What are your thoughts on how we've transformed and how we need to continue to transform?
Well, before the world stopped, a little more than a year ago, we sat in a boardroom in Dallas and we're already brainstorming on what the next 10 years was going to look like. And that had everything to do with the digital transformation, making the resources that we have available on the platforms that people are already using. We're going to continue to push that. I think that the work that we've done over the past year has been extraordinary, but it was all done as quickly as possible. We have a little bit more of a luxury of time. We have certainly the luxury of experience. So we're in a position to continue to leverage the resources that we've already created and innovate over the coming years.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to take up the end of this. We're going to switch the batting order a little bit. And Jordan, I'll give a chance for any final remarks as we wrap up this annual meeting and move into our virtual connection through the rest of the day and the week. What are your final thoughts?
Well, really, I just want to deliver a huge thank you to everyone who's taking the time to log on today, as well as to the board for their service over the past year and the service over the coming year, and especially to Connex staff. They've been incredibly nimble over the last year, very flexible and excellent partners as we work through this, and I'm confident that will continue over the coming years.
Good deal. And as I finish up before my closing remark, I want to do a couple notes about the digital transformation to kind of dovetail off what Jordan was talking about. And one of the significant efforts, and this board has invested over multiple years, is you look way back, we started with prism.com. Now we have connexfm.com, and we partner with the Sasha Group to continue to develop our digital content. And you're going to see over the next year, it's already happening, our Connexus magazine go from a print to a completely digital magazine, which is something that's strongly supported, we know, from the membership. And 2 areas that the Sasha Group pointed out, we're going to have our always on content you're going to see, and it's going to be events like this virtual connection and things at connexfm.com and things like the daily grind you're going to see at the top of the hour, as well as our tentpole content. Those are our big moments, and it's going to happen around Connex 2021. Our meeting in August of this year at the Gaylord National is going to be a hybrid event. There will be a digital aspect to it, and there will be a live aspect to it. And so in no uncertain terms, everyone's trying to digitally transform. I'm a little bit biased. I think we've done more than a lot of organizations. I really appreciate what the board has done and will do to support that. And And as Jordan said too, last February, before we thought this pandemic was going to be as bad as it was, we were already going in this direction of becoming a hybrid digital physical association. And before I wrap this and go to a little break, I want to welcome our new board members. Anyone who's run for the board knows this is an arduous process, and we're excited to move forward with our 2022 hard to believe board as we go through there. And we're going to get back meeting in person before no time. So you got a few minutes off during your virtual connection after we sign off on this, and join us at the top of the hour as we work our way into the daily grind. That's our annual meeting for 2020, 2021. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you at 2 for the daily grind.
Thanks, everyone.